internet, how are you all doing? Welcome to RWBY Reviews. I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic, and here we are with the start of Volume 5.
Wait, what happened to these?
I already did a stupid skit. There are 3 videos before this. Now you don't have to watch them, nor do you have to support me. I don't need to eat. I hear breatharianism is a great way to live.
Says the guy that can actually eat. God, what I'd do for a taco. Or kill for a f***ing Klondike bar.
Anyways, yes, after some decent character shorts in place of the trailers that we got back when this all began, we are finally ready to start the 5th season.
But first, let's go over a quick recap of what happened last time on RWBY. Counter-Ray did this during the character short reviews, but I know that some of you are not going to watch those. For some reason.
Shall I list it alphabetically or in order of stupidity?
Shut up.
Well, this fairy tale began with our main girl, Ruby, trying to get herself into college by fighting a level 60 mob boss. Yeah, the application process can be brutal. There she witnessed Aspen's eye fetish, fell across our future lover, created a meme, created another meme, killed a beta bird, killed its mother, became team leader, continued to annoy the Ice Queen, became BFFs with the Ice Queen, helped the beta boy become an alpha, lost her kitty, found her kitty, initiated a food fight that killed hundreds, bored at 11, discovered her friend was a sex bot, fought another bot, killing even more, got the battle of the prom skin pack, discovered the Catwoman Easter egg, introduced the true husbando, went camping, walked the dog, fueled the Rosewick ship, went all Avengers on Veil, made us feel terrible for not calling our moms more. I'm sorry, Mama. Made us feel terrible for a f***ing robot. Made us feel bad for Jean. Orphan Neo reenacted Winter Soldier. Made Yang into the Winter Soldier. Saw a pair of pyros. Saw the light. Learned that Osmond really did have an eye fetish. And eventually left Beacon to its runes to embark on a cross-country road trip with Virgin Boy and the last legitimate ship.
I beg your pardon.
And all that was in the first 3 seasons. The only ones Monty actually participated in before he had to go show God how to be awesome. In the last volume, the dynamic doofuses were solely responsible for everything that happened, which is why we witnessed a fan-made red trailer, Grim Porn, Meanwhile at the Legion of Doom, a boss battle, Death and Depression, Depression and Death, Kitty Ears! Last time on Dragon Balls, Black Sun confirmed,
What?
Canon! More depression! Yang having nightmares, Yang cracking jokes, Yang being sad, Yang getting mad, Yang feeling bad, Blake coming home, Sun meeting the family, Bumblebee confirmed,
What?
The best song of all time, the worst dinner party of all time, the best fight of all time, the worst exposition of all time, Ninja lesbians, Sun getting killed, Blake blaming herself, the sun rising again, praise Jesus, Blake forgiving herself, Black Sun confirmed,
Oh, fuck you.
Blake getting mad, White's getting mad, White's getting slapped, White's getting sad, White's getting mad, White's getting bad, ass, hashtag kickback, hashtag Red Nora, hashtag don't move the lollies, otherwise you're going to hell.
Been there.
Wacky inflatable arm playing 2 man, you killed my father. Final Fantasy, Red Nora confirmed, the saddest moment of all time.
Yeah, that's right, I said it. Come at me.
Hashtag we stand with Vic, foreshadowing and even more foreshadowing.
And after such an astounding volume, we can surely expect this one to be even better.
I mean, Miles and Carrie have had time to grieve, prepare for the next season, work on the screenplay, develop some new animation skills for the fights, and work on the story, all the while having the support of all the fans. So I feel that this one's going to be the best one so far.
What are you doing here?
Felt a disturbance in the future.
Anyways, guys, let's get this amazing season started. Lacana, roll the clip.
Whatever.
The city of Mistral.
Whoops. It seems I've accidentally played a World of Remnant video. And we're not gonna do that.
It's about time.
Oh, I guess not. Yeah, it turns out that this is just how the episode starts, with the gang finally reaching Mistral. Entering through the sewers, apparently. Looks like we now know how the White Fang will invade. Thanks, guys! You've doomed the city! Though, considering the fact that it and its people are all 2D cutouts of perfection, it probably would only take a magnifying glass to burn these heathens. But Zuko should be used to that by now.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I gotta pause for a second. Likely I'm not gonna touch on this again anytime soon. Sort of because it isn't important. But since there's sensitive little bitches out there, that was a joke. Sort of. I'll talk more about it before the end. Continue.
Anyways, jokes about people we can't make anymore aside, the gang aren't going to the lower levels where all the dirty peasants are, but instead are heading to the top, to Haven Academy. There, after a brief walk through the unusually empty campus, the gang gets suspicious, so they rush off to the headmaster's office.
Get ready. There could be trouble.
Ah!
Oh! God! Oh, that was unfortunate.
I guess Ruby must have been a dentist sometime in her life.
No, no one is shot, though they do nearly scare Leo half to death. It turns out that he had lost track of time, but is happy all the same that the gang is there. Crow, however, is furious that Leo has sent away his staff, leaving the relic vulnerable. Lionheart, in turn, is startled that Crow has brought kids into this war, knowing all too well of the dangers. After seeing the fall of Beacon, seeing those monsters swarm the city, seeing the Elysium Knights turn on the people, everyone in Mistral were terrified, which only brought more grim. Leo had to send away many of his own teachers to help defend the kingdom, which has not been easy, with Ironwood going all Trump and closing the borders, upsetting the Mistral Council. And on top of all that, they still haven't found the Spring Maiden.
Okay. Things are bad. They're bad, but we can figure this out. Why is the Spring Maiden so important?
Thought you filled them in.
Look, there's a lot to cover, okay? I quit teaching for a reason.
Yes. The reason being in your hand. Imagine how many hours are wasted with those annoying kids when you could have spent it getting plastered.
Hell yeah! Tequila shots for everyone!
Hold on, dude. We got a review to finish.
Later, my sweet.
Well, the headmaster explains that the maidens can not only do magic, but they are the only ones able to access the relics, the magical artifacts left behind by the gods.
Winter for the gift of creation, summer for destruction, fall for choice, and spring for knowledge. Spring is the problem.
He continues saying that Spring ran off, scared of her responsibilities and enemies, and was picked up by the bandits of the Bronwyn tribe, Crow and his sister's old gang. Since her return, Raven had been getting more and more followers, but Crow knows where they are. However, Leo explains that it would be weeks before they can attempt a search and rescue. With the kingdoms barely holding off the Grimm, it would be next to impossible to get the resources and huntsmen they need. And with Crow and Raven being equals, Leo being no spring chicken, and the kids being, well, kids, it would be too dangerous. They have one chance, and if they fail, the Bronwyn gang will scatter, and Spring will be lost. Seeing his point, Crow begrudgingly accepts, explaining that he and Team Ranger,
Team Junior,
shut up Nora, will be staying in the city for now. Crow then informs the four to head back to the inn while he goes to get plastered.
I'm back, my sweet. Let's kiss.
However, after they leave,
Leo, we have got to work on your improvisational skills.
at the bar, Crow is confronted by a kid who...
You know, I don't think they allow kids in here, Pipsqueak.
Wait, is this?
I'm supposed to tell you I'd like my cane back.
Oh my god! This is just the end credit scene from Volume 4! Jesus Christ! I knew Miles and Carrie were lazy, but... damn!
So yeah, this is just literally the same scene as the end credits from the previous volume, where boy with an old man inside him, just don't think about it, finally meets up with, I don't have an alcohol problem, I have a you problem. Anywho, we then fade from that scene to Weiss asking her pilot,
Are we there yet?
Whiny bitch may have left the pamper life, but the pamper life has not left the whiny bitch. Anyways, as Mr. Smuggler here toys with his radio, they get a distress beacon from another ship in danger.
We're going to help them, right?
What? No. Look, if we picked up their transmission, I'm sure someone else did too. Besides, this is a cargo ship. She's not much good in a fight. I just want to finish this job and get home.
I got 2 days till retirement. I ain't taking no risks.
So yeah, as Weiss allows dozens to die as they fly away, we then cut to the home of the Bella Booties.
Unbelievable!
Total bullshit! We can't let them get away with this!
Well, at least you two can finally agree on something.
Black Sun confirmed.
Heretic! Shut up!
Guys, everything's gonna be okay.
You need better security.
Before she can do anything, Ilya quickly explains that she just wants to talk, to which Blake tells her that it's too little too late. For while they couldn't pin anything on what does the fox say boys, they plan on going public on what they found on Ilya's scroll. Chameleon Girl, however, explains that it won't work, and begs her to leave.
You're going to have to make me.
I know.
While going from one supposed lesbian scene, we then cut to another equally supposed lesbian.
You only continue to add fuel to your pyre, heretic.
Yang is at a gas station, feeling thirsty.
Well, that's understandable. Blake not being there and all.
Aren't you a little young to be drinking?
Water. It's hot out.
Are you telling me you're too young to drink? You look like a regular huntress. And a beauty at that. Not too bulky, not too lean. You're
just right.
I know that was a Yang pun, but for some reason I'm not laughing. Probably because of this walking stereotype. Well, we all know why he's here, so let's just get it over.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？もうあたくびで。
Now, you guys might think that I would be mad, considering that this guy went all Looney Tunes on our ass. But this is Yang. I can totally believe that she is capable of punching someone so hard that they break the laws of physics.
She hit the guy so hard, his ass cheeks turned into flubber.
Well, after a slight tremor, Yang downs her drink as the robot behind the bar asks her business. Yang explains that she's looking for Raven Bronwyn, and ignoring his concerns, leaves Mr. Wright's establishment. Outside, having just regained consciousness, the stereotype explains that he might be able to help her out. Back with a relaxing Team Junior, the three hear a knock at the door. Why the hell are you guys suspicious? It's probably just Crow asking for directions to the nearest bar. Oh my god, it's a lost puppy! Can we keep it? Well, Oscar introduces himself, asking for Ruby.
I found him!
Explaining that her alcohol may have uncle poisoning.
Oh.
I found him.
What is going on out there? Can't a girl read her comics in peace?
Yes, Ruby. Comics.
I wish to see video evidence that such an event took place. With audio would be appreciated.
Well, Ruby is annoyed, but not surprised that Crow is drunk. However, at the farm boy noting that she has silver eyes, his soon-to-be shipping buddy asks who he is. To which he explains that his name is Oscar Pine, but they may know him as...
Star-Lord.
No, Mama's boy, Ozpin.
I did it!
And Crow's dead. Whew! Guess it was okay that they fired him. Cowards. Anyways, before I get some rants, let me just say that, again, we get the intro at the end, and we get another rock cover from the Williams, and boy, do I miss the first two volume openings. I'm sorry, but while the lyrics of this one are really good, the soft intros leading to a more bombastic chorus was definitely better than this. Also,
never forget who made this! Even though if you want to watch it, you have to come to our website. And no doubt you will have to soon permanently subscribe and sacrifice your firstborn to view it.
I don't like Rooster Teeth's recent decisions is what I'm trying to get at. But what I do like is this episode, as they did do a good job starting this season out. What was the phrase, my love?
Just right.
That's it. And yes, as you all know by now, that doesn't mean that I'm just going to ignore the numerous issues this episode had. So long as you dummies don't forget what I just said. And funnily enough, this episode was very similar to the character shorts. I'm including Ruby's because otherwise what I just said really doesn't work.
Kinda like your entire review.
But in that, the episode started out strong, wavered a little bit, kept pressing on, really started to struggle, kept moving forward, kept failing, but in spite of it continuing to falter, managed to get better before the end. Which clearly means that it's not bad, just that it simply had some problems. Which, to be honest, is nothing new. Every first episode so far has had its stumblings, as a first episode would be expected, as it's not easy trying to start a new season. However, here we had some worrying signs of compromise, and in particular, a repeated one. In the previous season, one of the main issues was that they were trying to focus on too many characters and not affording enough time to each. And we're getting that here too. Last time there wasn't much you could do, as a lot had happened in Volume 3, and catching us up on our girls was something that was sort of needed. However, last time it at least knew that we needed to keep the scene changing to a bare minimum. But here we bounced all over the map. Again, I slightly organized the scenes to prevent
whiplash.
but it was kinda unnecessary as each of these scenes were unnecessary.
Hey, kinda like you.
The only ones we really needed to focus on were RWBY and the gang, and like last time, the others would slowly be revealed in the following episodes. That way we not only would have eased up on the jump cuts, but might have been able to focus on what we wanted to, the city.
I mean, that opening was really good, and it was really good at getting us pumped to see the city. But then they just cut away, only to cut back with them already at the school.
How much more fun would it have been if they took us through this complex community? Seeing the crow feel at home in the underbelly, watching RWBY lose her mind in the smithing district, hearing Ren explain all the different cultures, and of course, watching Nora consume everything sweet that crossed her path. No one cares about Jean.
Agreed.
It would have been a far better opening. For while this one did remind us of what's going on with each of our characters, here a more important thing would have been established. Our connection to the city that soon would be under attack. True, there's always the basic sympathy of, I live somewhere too, so we instinctually don't want to see the city fall. But after a full volume of building up to this place, all we get is a couple of stills of it? I mean, even volume 1, the volume that was budgeted on a bologna sandwich, knew to establish the place a bit more. All I'm saying is that this episode should have focused just on RWBY, the gang, and the city, and left out all that other repetitive nonsense for later. And one bit of nonsense that definitely should have changed was that whole lazy end credit clip! Or at the very least, they should have changed it up, because just repeating it here was a very bad sign for the volume going on, as it shows that they may become lazy with other things as well. What would have worked better was if we instead got it from Oscar's point of view. Imagine watching him enter the city, scared and confused, and then being told to simply check every single bar he came across, until eventually they came across the drunk alchemist. Also, that way we would have gotten some fun and interesting internal dialogue with Ozpin sighing at Crow, downing shot after shot.
But this here, there's just no other words for it. It was just a lazy out that they took, and it's not the only one.
Much of Blake's scene felt rushed and far too much to the point. The opposite of show don't tell kind of deal. Especially since that show could have showed us the remnants of the relationship these two shared.
Don't worry, I have hacked information on just how deep it went. I would have to say it's just above the elbow.
Anyways, another's was with Yang, as it felt rushed as well. Again, like they were just trying to quickly catch us up with each of the members, as if we don't remember. Okay, show of hands, how many of us rewatch every single season before watching a new? That's what I thought. And like with Yang's scene, a lot of the jokes, well, they didn't fail, but they felt a lot more scripted and unnaturally uninspiring.
Again, kinda like you! Are you starting to see a pattern here?
Let's start with Weiss's, as it had the least issues. Mainly because it played no point apart from reminding us that our best girl existed. Sure, it showed us that she's still on the run and that she still has a ways to go before reaching her senpai, but I think we could have guessed that much. Especially considering the cancerous growth the shipping community has become. However, the thing that it did do right were two subtle reminders. The first was the pretty open, but all the same scary reminder of how dangerous this world is. And the second was a very subtle illustration on how big it is. However long ago she left her home, she is still flying, telling us without words just the distance that our little rangers had to cross. But like I said, it sort of goes downhill from there. Like with Blake's scene, where it starts with the music, as it was just a generic suspenseful track when it should have been a softer version of From Shadows. This would have emphasized the emotional conflict that was silently raging inside of each.
Don't hold back, ladies. Let the floodgates flow. Both from the windows and the basement.
And again, this would have helped because we know so little of their past, and it would have established subtle clues to it. However, while it failed there, it was a good scene that set up the conflict that we soon would be getting between Blake and the White Fang. And another scene that was a great setup to another impending conflict was Yang's. Though, sad to say, it was kinda unenjoyable. Yes, the bitch slap was humorous.
Take that, you cis white man. Oh God, I can't even finish that. What the hell is wrong with you people? I'm a perverted skull and I still have better respect towards others.
But it's undercut by Yang's personality now. It's like all the humor and joy was sucked out of her. Which is a great sign that what happened to her had long-lasting effects. It's just a shame that we're only just getting to see them now.
However, I've said more than enough on that matter though, so let's instead talk about how this episode began to redeem itself.
First good signs were the occasional switches to subtle builds in character or world. But the major change came at the end of Yang's scene and her calm determination to find her mother. Though the lazy scene is like nails on a chalkboard as story writing goes, it was followed by another that was not only a substantial build to the plot, but to the characters as well. We quickly understand that they are still wary of another attack, simply through their reaction and subtle musical cues. This keys us into the fact that while they have finally reached the safety of the city, they haven't let their guard down. A nice hint to how they've grown as characters.
Constant vigilance.
It also shows a cute side to Best Boy Farm Boy here, as we see him so shy and timid, yet resigned to his destiny. And while this would have been a bigger surprise if we had not known about Oscar till this season, at least this was executed well enough.
I did it!
Oh god, would somebody get the drunk dad out of here? Now the last scene that we need to take a look at is the one that should have gotten all the attention. And that was Yang beating up on that misogynistic pig, even though he really didn't do anything but be a jerk.
Sexist.
Shut up.
No, we might get into that later on in the show, but actually it's the scene with Ranger that slowly built on the story that we've been waiting for nearly 4 damn seasons. Better late than never, huh guys? Unless you're talking about somebody's period, then that's a whole different topic. But anyways, yes, finally are we not only getting the plot built up, but it's being done slowly and properly. From the oblivious citizens to the abandoned schools, to reluctant headmasters, to the overall tense atmosphere, you can feel the calm before the storm. And the established tone of the importance of the maidens fills a dual purpose of setting up the literal magical MacGuffin of the Spring Maiden, as well as laying further importance to Cinder and her possible role to this volume.
That role, of course, being getting a mace shoved up.
The following statement has been removed by the YouTube monkeys for the extreme profanity and for putting a spike mace where a spike mace should never go. The only 2 complaints that can be made here are RWBY not being as centered to this as she should, and Leo's betrayal being spoiled. I mean, it would have been nice, if not a cliched surprise, that maybe they're building to something later on. Which is where I have to say that one thing I hope they're building to, not for my sake really, is the combat. Because this is the first episode that didn't have any fighting in it whatsoever. And no, a single punch make a fight, it does not. And that's sort of an issue, as this show has sort of made a name for itself because of them. I mean, it's one of the main reasons this show got so much attention in the first place. We can all remember when we first saw the Red trailer. We had never seen anything like this before. Until we remembered Haloid, and then we clicked to watch it again.
Thanks and be praised to Lord Monty. May his name live forever in the legends of man.
And may all those who dare ignore the weight of his name have a lemon punched at them.
But as you might have noticed, that wasn't one of my complaints, as it is the characters that are more important, as they will leave a greater impact and have done so. We remember more about what our girls have lived through than any of the sweet tricks they've done. However, cramming them all into one episode is probably not the way to go. It's like having girlfriends. 1 is fine, 2 may pose a problem, 3 may get you in trouble, but the more you start adding, the faster your hole is going to be dug.
Unless, of course, you're building a harem, and that's a whole different topic.
So while there were a lot of things to like about this episode, there were a few things to worry about as well. However, even those aren't enough to sway the genuinely good feeling of promise that Volume 5 may bring. The plot is getting more attention, the characters each have an arc set for them, the animation is still gorgeous, and the story is starting to pick up. Let's just hope that they can keep it going.
So I'll see you all next week for episode 2. Till then, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of more. Don't forget to leave a comment and share with your friends. I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic. With me, no movie's sacred, no video's safe, but all deserve a chance. I'll catch you guys next time. Turtles!
The city of Mistral.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
I did it!